folks. So we should be streaming, I think. All right, well, let's hope this works, folks. Sorry about the start. I forgot that there's a certain format I have to send this live stream to the cloud, otherwise it doesn't like it. And I completely forgot about that, so I kind of had to redo things at the last minute there. So let me just pull up on my phone. But all right, good news, people. We can actually live stream our intention tonight. So we're actually going to be able to do something we've wanted to do for a while here, and unfortunately, for some stupid reason, nothing is working for me again here. Like, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but like I can't get YouTube to work on my phone. Oh, there it is, to save my life. You'll notice I've ditched Restream. The hell with that. I literally made this like layout in about 20 seconds before the stream started. We're back to using OBS. I can't. That Restream stuff's just crap. So you'll have to kind of bear with me here a little bit. I think I should be able to put chat on screen, right? Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Great. So still a couple of issues I gotta work out with that though. But we'll get it working. Maybe. Folks, I have somewhere a to-do list. Nice to see everybody here. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit goofy here because this isn't normal. So like I have to look up here for the chat instead of right here. We're going to work through it together. But one of the things I'm going to do tonight is actually spend some significant time on getting this OBS thing figured out a little bit better for these studio streams. To see everybody here. But okay, so I'm not the only one with YouTube issues occasionally. Good. All right, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and put our trusty stream agenda on screen here. Yep, and there's my wallpaper. The nice, oops. Got the nice forest there. Check our stream health. 1500 kilobits. It seems a little low. Weird. Oh, it's because we're in variable bit rate. That's why. I have to change that. So, folks, this is something we made the other day. A couple of things I want to do. I'm going to change this to right now stuff. Folks, I want to remind everybody about the build list on Amazon. We'll talk about our Radar Omega integration a little bit. Actually, but we're going to actually bump that up to last because we have a way that I can give you a demonstration of how this stuff looks in Radar Omega. And then we're going to talk about picking an endpoint for your stream potentially. But most importantly, we're going to go over the Orange Pi and how we kind of get that thing set up and how to connect to that. And we're going to leave a lot of this stuff kind of out and for later dates, because otherwise we're just going to end up with way too much to do. But I want to bring your attention to the website. Go to projectweathereye.com and then go to, you saw me there, build progress. Oh my God, this is nice because my computer doesn't lag anymore. This is great. Wow. Anyway, you go to the February 27th guide, the Getting Started with Orange Pi. Click here. This is the single board computer we're going to use. If anything on this project from here on out doesn't make any sense to you at all, reading this will probably bring you up to speed on a lot of this, and you'll be a lot more comfortable with everything. This basically talks about how we can use the BellaBox ecosystem from Rational IRL to make a really, really like supercharged live streaming device. If that's really not you, then we can go back to using OBS on Ubuntu, on the Raspberry Pi, the Orange Pi. And of course, we can also, if you want to be kind of an advanced user, we can use FFmpeg. There's lots of different ways that we can integrate live streaming with what we're doing. Remember, Project WeatherEye isn't necessarily just about creating some sort of live streaming device. It's more about giving you folks the tools to get into the weather or the live streaming industry. We're going to talk about integrating weather stations through APIs or whatever build documents they may have. We're going to talk about live streaming, all sorts of stuff that it really revolves around our main goal, which is deploying these devices that we're going to make into the path of severe storms, blizzards, hurricanes. Well, we already do that with hurricanes, but flash floods and things like that. But we want to give you the open source part of this so that you guys can kind of build along with us and be a little bit involved on that way too. So what I think this is going to evolve into over the next few weeks is there, you know, we're going to get use cases. You know, Joe in the chat might say, "Hey, I want to do this, but it doesn't quite line up with what you're doing." You know, then maybe we can do a use case and say, "All right, well, give us all your information, and we'll try to build it together on stream." Things like that. So I think first of all, before we really get into anything, just because we need to get right down to this finally, we're going to take a look at the orange pies because I've got a couple of them already. I can't get out of my chair. There's a cat. We've had 3 of these orange pies supplied from our Amazon list. Thank you, folks. 2 have shown up, and the 2 that I ordered, I have no idea where they're at. They're off somewhere. Sound is fine for me. Yeah, sound is fine for me, folks. No problems here. Yeah, I really don't care about the political issues right now because we don't have to eat, sleep, and breathe politics. But anyway, this is the orange pie 5 plus. You can get like a 5 and a 5. I recommend the 5 plus. It is a little pricey, but folks, you know, I'm not sponsored by these people. I just chose this because it's a good device. You know, it's got HDMI ports in and out, full size. It's just really, really good piece of equipment, and it will interface directly with what we're doing. So we're actually going to get started today by unboxing this and getting ready, and by the end of the stream, this thing will run something. You'll be able to plug it into a computer and do something with it. I don't know what, but you'll be able to do something with this thing by the end of this live stream. So first things first, I have to put my phone on a tripod because, as you can tell, I'm very prepared for this live stream. I spent $20 on this tripod because I wasn't spending a freaking $100 bill on some camera tripod. This is the only tripod that I own that's not like a Joby GorillaPod or something. Yeah, folks. Everybody says the audio is good except for a few people. It could just be a YouTube thing. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I've got my VU meter right here, and we're peaking. We're peaking right where we should be. And if I play it back on my phone, this is the only tripod that I own. It sounds perfectly fine. So we're just gonna go with it. Don't know, but it according to my specifications, everything is fine. So we're going to kind of work our way through this and make this apparently a tutorial how to set up your tripod. Yeah, duct tape probably would work. That's about what we're going to go to here at this rate. Oh, come the hell on. I can't even get the freaking tripod to come apart here. You got to be shitting me. Jesus Christ. All right, so my phone has the advantage of just using the I've got a cage on my phone. This is pretty cool. This is something we'll talk about too, you know, live streaming phone accessories. But this is a small rig case, or no, this is newer, from newer, whatever. Yeah, folks. All right, I'm gonna move on from the audio issue. Like I said, it could just be a YouTube. My VU meter is peaked, and it sounds perfectly fine on my phone. There is a setting in the YouTube player to go in, and there's like I think maybe it's a premium feature, but there used to be at one point a like click here to select stable volume or something. I'll check one time in my YouTube Studio to make sure there's not a setting. But folks, I don't have any issues, so I'm going to probably have to move on from it. Just because I don't want to make the whole live stream about audio. Because it's... Let me try dumping the ingest from YouTube. Hold on one second here. If this fixes it, then that'll indicate it's a YouTube issue. All right, well, if that did anything, then it's definitely a YouTube issue if that did anything. But again, like I said, folks, it sounds perfectly fine on my iPhone at 1/2 to 3/4 volume. So I'm just kind of gonna roll with it, and it is what it is, folks. You know, so I could go on and on about it all night, but I'm just gonna continue to move on, folks. Yeah, we're gonna move on from that, but the iPhone goes into this case, which is essentially it is aluminum. It's metal. I don't know if it's. I can't tell if this is aluminum or not. I don't have a magnet. It's either aluminum or steel. This might be steel, but this is a really a good solid unit. And the advantage of this is you can put different lenses on here, like ND filters and everything. But it's also got your 1/4-20 mounts for, you know, like your tripod quick attaches and everything. So I use this for the stream phone. This thing's only like $50. It might be a little bit cheaper now, actually, but that's kind of the advantage of this, is I can just put a tripod on it, do whatever I want to do with it. Probably should have done this before the live stream, but you know, we're not a big production here on this channel. Gotta just go with it. So there we go. We'll install this. Maybe. Oh, come on, you freaking putz. I don't even know how to use this. There we go. Jeez. Alright, so a couple of things need to happen. I need to clean my desk off. Badly. Excuse the mess, but I'm going to go ahead and see how awful this looks. Hold on. I have to, I know it's blurry. Give me a second. Alright, I'm going to bring you in. I do have an overhead camera, but it's broken. Well, it's not broken. I'm missing a driver. So, folks, this should work okay for us, I think. But anyway, we need a knife. Oh, I don't even know if I'm allowed to unsheath my knife on YouTube anymore, but long story short, we're going to slice this thing open. And these come with a totally useless plastic connector case, but keep it. Now, I know this is very obvious, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Be very careful opening these, because I destroyed a Raspberry Pi once doing this, where I like nicked the circuit board. It's really easy to just go after these, but be careful. Because remember, this entire device is essentially an exposed circuit board. You know, you don't have to worry about touching it, but you know, if your knife knocks any of these off, any of these pieces off, you are SOL. All right, so a couple of things. Man, this is hard to do. I might have to stand up to do this. That's why I need that overhead camera working. Jesus Christ. So what we've got with Orange Pi here, we've got 2 Ethernet RJ45 connectors for networking, which is actually super nice. Then we've also got 2 HDMI outputs, full size, so you don't have to use one of those rinky-dink adapters, and 1 HDMI input. Now it's full size, and yeah, that is a full-size input, so you don't need a capture card with this, folks, if you want to use this for HDMI in. You've got 2 standard USB ports, 2.0, and 2 3.0 USB ports. Keep in mind, these don't output. Focus. Camera don't want to focus. These don't output. I think it's 3 amps shared across both of them. So if you're going to have anything plugged into this that has a serious current draw, you are 100% going to need a powered USB hub. Otherwise, it's just going to shut the board down. Also mentioning, we have a USB-C that's for power input, 5 volts power in, 4 amp. And then USB-C, that's like a data port that's an in and out. There's also some other things on here you should be familiar with. This is the Rock chip 3588 or 3688, whatever it is. This is essentially the brains. It's the CPU, the processor. I don't know if that's GPU. One of these is like a dedicated GPU. But right here, this is where the eMMC card will go. That's optional. We'll talk about that later. But there's lots of little interface connections here as well. And of course, I should mention this is an infrared sensor, an IR sensor. You use a remote control with it if you program it. I believe this is a reboot switch. Don't really use that much. This is just an audio jack, and I think that that is TRRS, so that's in and out audio as well. So this is actually a really nice unit, way better than Raspberry Pi. And we're going to be putting it in. Some of you may have noticed right here, I've got a unit already running beta testing. This is kind of what it looks like in the case. We're going to have to put these heat sinks on them. What I'm doing right here is actually a battery test. You can see we're only at half battery. This has been running and streaming continuously since about 9 or 10 o'clock Central last night, and we're just now below half battery on the 40,000 milliamp power bank. Very impressed. So we're going to be putting the Pi into one of our metal cases, and that's going to be real simple. I think we're going to do this first just because I think it makes sense to get this out of the way. That way we're not manhandling a raw component that could short out on something or break. So if you rattle out the screwdriver, you'll find it. It's in there. Oh, I just had it. There we go. Again, these are on the Amazon list. There's going to be 4 screws, super easy. And just for you folks that may want to build along with us, just know that I am going to go ahead and post like clips of these streams, and might actually do a regularly like a produced long form video here at the end of all this, or I shouldn't say the end because this project never ends, but definitely we'll be doing like an actual video with chapters interactive that you can click on to go to certain parts at a later date. Again, sorry about the focus thing right now. I don't have a way to manually lock the focus. I will once I get OBS all the way set up. Actually, let me check real quick. I might. No, I don't. That's okay. You're jealous of my knife? It was $5 at Walmart. A good unboxing knife. Electric screwdriver would be handy in this scenario also, because these screws are a real pain in the ass. Yeah, focus is fine now, but it likes to have these little spazzes here. The screwdriver is magnetic that they give you, which is nice. So this is the fan, obviously, right? No kidding. So that's the fan. And is this pushing or pulling air? I'm trying to look at it for the air. I think it's... No, this actually is pulling air. So it's drawing air in. And then it pushes it through the case, which is vented, naturally through the portholes. And, it's got plenty of venting here once this is put together. In here, you're going to find a couple of pieces that are going to go flying. Some of the most important ones are going to be these heat sinks. So we're going to go ahead and put these on. Now these heat sinks basically have a thermal pad, which is a sticky pad on them that'll allow thermal energy or heat to be transferred efficiently through and into the sink. We're going to go ahead and put one on the rock chip. And press it down, not too firmly. You don't want to screw up anything on the back here, but it seems best to just kind of massage these on for a couple of seconds. Without these, this unit's going to overheat. And then, so one goes on there, and actually, I don't know if I determined where the other ones were going to go. I think it's, because they don't give you enough to go everywhere, so I think it only goes on some of them. So we're going to go on the rock chip, where that is, and then that over there. I think one of these might be like dedicated GPU. This does have a dedicated GPU. I don't know if that's actually part of the rock chip or if it's separate, but That's part of why we're using the Orange Pi, is because it's got the GPU capabilities, and it's powerful enough to do what we need to do without bogging down constantly. And again, these heat sinks technically are optional, but they are really important because while it may not seem like a big deal, you know, you look at something like this, and I'll zoom in on one of these here before we stick it on. Give it a minute to focus. Look at all that surface area where air can flow if it focuses. See how much better that is than not having it? So you've got all that surface area to dissipate the heat. Big difference. Kind of a pain to get the little papers off the back, and they stick to your fingers. Alright, it's nothing advanced about any of that. So we've got our heat sinks on, we're good to go with that. So now we're basically just going to stick this in here. You'll note the HDMI ports match up, so that's kind of how you know you're going in the right way. It is a little bit of a squeeze. Like, if you don't set it in there just right, you're going to be like, is this the right thing? But it is. And then pretty straightforward here. The screwdriver is magnetic, barely. Obviously, don't have power applied to the board when you do this, because if you do, you could short something out by touching it with your screwdriver. So do not apply power to this board when you have metal near it, unless you like living on the edge and accepting your potential mistakes. So you'll want to screw these down with the silver screws that are included. There is nothing special about this. No torque spec, no nothing. Just make them hand tight. I think this one actually, the threads are all screwed up on it. Sometimes these cases are not of the highest quality, and the threads sometimes come stripped out. Nope, that one's good. It just wasn't going in straight. I don't even think there's enough screws. I think there's like 6 screw holes or 5 screw holes on here, and you're missing but not all of them are threaded. Yeah, like that one doesn't have any threads under it. This one does. No threads there, so it's just the 4 out of the 6 that have threads. There, and there. So we'll call that a spare part. And then they give you, apparently they just give you spare screws for the case, which, I don't know, I guess that's kind of nice. Now, if you're sitting this on a desk, I recommend, these are little like bubble stickers, come off like that. And they're the little feet that go on the bottom. I'm not putting those on because it is entirely possible that this may be Velcroed to something, but you're still going to want to have some sort of airflow on the bottom. And we're not going to install the top because we're probably going to need to get in here to jumper wire stuff. But let me show you something here. You've got these ground power in-out pins on here. They really made this really idiot-proof for us here. The 2 reds are positive for the fan, and the black one is negative. So it's negative, black to black, and then just pick a red post for the fan. You can switch it potentially to a different GPIO pin and then like program it to turn on and off, but for now, that's basically how it goes together. So we've assembled it. It's pretty simple, okay? Addition to that, you're going to need, oh, there it is. Jesus. You're going to need an SD card. Focus, there it goes. And that SD card is going to insert right here with the metal contacts down, so it'll go like this. So in addition to this SD card, depending on your card reader, you're going to need a way to shove it in your computer. So you can get an adapter like this. The ones on the Amazon list come with the adapter. My MacBook Pro has a reader built in. All right, let me switch this now. Okay, so I'm going to take SD card, shove it into my Mac, and just let it sit there. So now I'm going to screen share with you folks. Not that. How about that? Yeah, that works. So on our website here, the first thing that I want to show you guys how to do is install Ubuntu, or Ubuntu, whatever, which is basically the Linux version for this, which is kind of going to set it up just like kind of a desktop computer. Which we may or may not want to do for this project. After we do that, I'm going to explain to you guys. We'll probably reformat the disk. We're actually not going to set this up. I just want to give you guys an example. But after this, then we're going to kind of talk about what operating system you might choose for this based on what you want to do with this project. So on the website here, under resources, I have a special image. If you go down here to downloads, a special image for the rock chip based things like, you know, the Orange Pi. It's the Joshua Reich images, and these are special for the rock chip boards like this, or like the Rock Pi, any of these. Jetson looks like Nano maybe, Orange Pi, Radza. These are all the boards it supports. So basically, it's optimized for the CPU and the GPU on here. It just runs really good. It's got all the drivers, so I recommend this. So we'll go down here to Orange Pi 5 Plus and download it. Click on it and download it. I am not going to do that because I already have it downloaded, and I don't want you to see my screen. So hang on. Move this up here. Go back to this. And we're going to go ahead and go look for Balena Etcher. And you guys, Balena Etcher is the first thing here on the top list of our downloads thing. Where is Balena Etcher? There it is. So the first thing you do is flash from file URL or clone a drive. We're just going to flash from a file. Is this it? Yeah, Bella. No, that's BellaBox. God dang it. OBS Orange Pi 5 Linux. Is this it? Hold on. What's the name of that it downloads as? Let's see. Ubuntu pre-installed desktop ARM64. Let me try to find that in my downloads here. Shoot, I hope I didn't delete it. Pre-installed desktop, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, so it is labeled under Ubuntu. Pre-installed desktop ARM64 Orange Pi 5 Plus.img. That's the image, that's the operating system. So we've got that loaded. Select the target. Super easy. Apple SDXC reader media. This will be different, but that's my SD card, basically. Select. It's going to give us a warning because it thinks that might be a hard drive, but it's not. Click on yes, I'm sure. And this thing for the next few minutes is going to... Hold on. The next few minutes is going to basically flash that drive and make it bootable so that the Orange Pi can see that as some sort of an operating system. Yeah, and like Jim mentioned there, like, yeah, it goes without saying, but definitely need to be mentioning it. Make sure you select the right drive, otherwise it's going to format something. So even if you select, you know, an SD card, other SD card you have plugged in that's got your family photos on it, it's going to override that, things like that. So make sure you've got the right drive. You know, and if you're confused and you can't find it, you might just try unplugging everything but the device you want to flash. And make sure you don't select your hard drive either. Trying to scroll through chat real quick. Well, any day now this will be done. Once it's done, we're going to go ahead and put it into the Pi. And let's see if I can put chat back on screen. We're going to go ahead and put it into the Pi, and then it should boot up with it. But a few things you're going to need are going to be a keyboard and mouse. You can use a wireless, one of those ones with the little USB plugs. Like, I should have an example. This is the USB plug to my wireless keyboard and mouse. Bluetooth is not going to work, okay? Bluetooth is not going to work, and these Orange Pi 5 Pluses do not. They don't come with Wi-Fi unless you have purchased the Wi-Fi module. But I don't bother with Wi-Fi on these things because when you've got these, seriously, speaking from experience, when they're in these metal housings like this, the Wi-Fi performance on them is crap. It really is, so don't bother. So just plug it in via Ethernet. If you want Wi-Fi, you can go and buy the Wi-Fi module. We'll talk about that more later on. But you can also get an external Wi-Fi thing, like most of those USB Wi-Fi adapters from Best Buy or Walmart. Those will work too. You know, it usually looks like a little USB stick with a little antenna on it. Those work just fine. But you'll need a keyboard and mouse, and then some sort of a display to connect this to. I'm going to use a TV, if you computer monitor, whatever. But I've actually got my office set up here for this purpose, and I can just grab my spare my spare HDMI, and then I'll just switch my computer monitor over to this input, which is fine. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, so just real basics, obviously. All right, so there we are. Bellina Etcher is done. So I always just click on Flash and Others. Sometimes it prompts for an ejection, but I think it did it automatically. And we're done with Bellina Etcher. So we shall go back over to the Pi, and I'm going to plug in the receiver for the keyboard and mouse. If it's any sort of non-Chinesium junk keyboard and mouse, it'll work. It should have drivers. This is just a cheap Logitech. No, this is an ONN, the store brand, probably made by Logitech, but the Walmart store brand. No driver issues whatsoever. So we're going to insert the SD card with the device powered off. And then we're going to give it HDMI. It doesn't matter which one of these you plug it into. The one on the left, I believe that's the input. These two are outputs. But as long as it's not plugged into the input and it's plugged into an output, you're fine. I'm going to steal power from the dev unit. This is basically a sandbox unit that I've got running over here, just with different stuff on it. Load testing the batteries. It's the first time that's been off for a long time. We're going to take USB-C. Make sure you got a good charger adapter, like one of those, 30-watt adapters, or a really good battery bank. Don't plug this into your computer and expect it to power it. It does need more amps than that, but it is standard USB-C. So just plug it in, and the lights are going to start blinking. And we'll go over to Linux, saved as a preset. And nothing's happening. That's cool. There it is. There it goes. I don't even know if you can see that for shits because OBS is on the wrong monitor there. Oh, nice. Let me unplug that external monitor so that I get OBS back on my Retina screen. There we go. So nothing's happening. Oh, there's something. So we're booting up. And I'm going to need a keyboard and mouse to show you this. And again, this doesn't really pertain to the live streaming part of this. See, mouse has entered the chat. That's good. But these are the fundamentals you're going to have to understand to be able to do this. So it's just asking for language. I'm just going to hit enter. I know it's probably hard to read, but it's fine. I'll walk you through it. This is just asking for keyboard layout, so English. Time zone. Your name, we're just going to call it test. And then it generates, up here it generates a computer name, so test-desktop. That's going to be important for any sort of terminal or command line stuff later on. And then test becomes the username. And then we're going to leave password blank. Recommend, obviously, making a password, security reasons. but I'm actually going to click login automatically. So that means, now folks, if you're going to build anything automated, you're going to want this to automatically log in when power is applied. If you're going to use this as like a computer or a media center, you're going to want to, maybe have a user account. But for automation, we're going to need this thing to log in automatically. And it's actually going to force me to make a password. We're just going to go with password. All right, so password is the password. Don't let me forget it. And now this thing is going to just sit here and configure. Hold on a second. All right, so it's going to sit and do some configuration here for a little while. It is a little bit slow, so we're just going to sit and let that run. Still need to fix this behind me. Lost the studio lighting in portrait mode. Weird. Oh god, that looks terrible. That looks better. Studio light kicked off there. But so that's essentially kind of the basics of this. Now we're going to be able to apply these principles in the future here with what we do, because everything we do with anything Project WeatherEye is going to have something to do with this orange Pi. Let's say you want to build a weather station that streams to, I don't know, like an HTML web page. Well, that's actually not hard to do with this. That might just stream your data, like your temperature, your wind speed, stuff like that. That's not hard to do, but it's going to revolve around orange Pi. Now, in this case, something like that that's not mission critical, where you don't need a lot of automation, I probably would set this up with this Ubuntu like this. Now, you can use this thing quite literally as a computer. So, like, you actually can run Radar Omega on this. You can run, I don't know if any other weather apps run on this, but I know Radar Omega. I know we support Linux operating systems there. It's actually booting up into the desktop and applying some configuration right now. Zoom in a little bit on that. But there's a lot of things you could do with this, like turn it into a smart TV media center. You could turn this into a server. You can run, one of the things we're going to talk about later is setting up a streaming server, like an RTMP server at your house. One of these might be overkill for that, but you definitely could run it for that. So there's a lot you can do with this. So everything's going to revolve around this. It's not just streaming. So this is really kind of, the basics of understanding. But as you can see, this is really not that hard to do. I mean, we're just sitting here, twiddling our thumbs, waiting. This thing is a little bit slow. There it goes into command line. That's fine. That's normal. It's rebooting right now. It's either rebooting or it just opened the terminal on itself. But this is normal. This is part of the process. If you've never done anything with Linux or anything command line before, you're going to see stuff like that a lot, and it's nothing to be afraid of. So yeah, welcome to Ubuntu, blah, blah, blah. We just, we go to next. And then don't worry about this pro crap. Just do skip for now. I don't even know what that shit is. Don't share system data. Big brother don't need to know. And then you can actually install apps through their little app center. But basically, we have a fully functioning computer now. That was it. And this is actually, guys, this computer is probably more capable than a lot of computers that a lot of folks might be running. And that's not an insult to anybody, but this is way better than Chromebooks. This is way better than, like, if you spent less than $1,000 on your computer and you got it from Walmart, no offense, but if you spent less than $1,000 and it came from Walmart, this is probably more powerful than that. Because a lot of those Walmart PCs are watered down. This is actually a really capable machine. Just to show you around, down here in the bottom left, right down here, we've got our little, basically this is a start screen. Here's all your apps. Kind of reminds me of Mac OS. But you have apps and your web browser and everything, your dock over here. And you've got a functioning desktop, left click, right click. This is essentially a working computer. And I probably am actually going to have a couple of these in the studio. I might have 2 or 3 of these running different instances. I was thinking of like Radar Omega to put, to build like a wall of weather information. I thought would be cool. I guess one of the things I might want to do here just to demonstrate like how this works, we could try to install, I'm trying to think what we could install. We could install Radar Omega on here. Change password. No, I don't give a shit about that. We're not connected to, one thing I forgot to do with you folks was plug in my internet. I did not plug in the Ethernet cable. I'm going to do that. it's just a really short little patch cable, so I'm trying to reach across my desk to do this. There we go. All right, we'll have internet in like 2 seconds here. Yep, there it is. Just came online. And this has nothing to do with the fact that we work with them. This is literally just, I'm trying to think of something that I can install. And this. All right, so Linux users follow these directions. Oh boy. All right, so using the GUI, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it is downloading right now. You can see the progress up there. Comes in as an app image. I've actually never installed anything. Usually a command line. See if we can figure it out. Wow, look how that screwed with the white balance. Having all that purple really screwed the white balance on this camera. Though, look at the white wall. The white wall is orange now. Oh my god. All right, so using the GUI, which stands for Graphic User Interface, so the desktop, so open your file manager, browse to the app image, right-click on the app image, properties, permissions. My god, I gotta do all that. Don't we just have a command line? Okay. All right, well, we'll follow the directions and see if we can handle it. Check internet connection. What? Did it not download? Network error. Freaking kidding me? It's got like 5 megabytes, whatever left. All right, so I've actually never run an app image. I've never used Linux in the GUI before until this project. I've always used command line stuff. So, oh boy. Let's see. Oh, find the file manager. Okay, where the hell's that? Nope. That's LibreOffice. God damn it. That's the file manager. Oh, Jesus, what's all this shit? Welcome to my life, people. Bring me back to the command lines. All right, find your image. It should be in downloads. There it is. Radar Omega 511x86. Right-click, properties. Switch to the permissions tab. Okay. Click the allow executing file as program. Where the hell is that? Check or click the allow executing file as program checkbox if you're using a blah 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 based file manager, files name or Casia. Or click is executable checkbox if you're using Dolphin. Or change the execute drop down list to anyone if you are using PCman FM. What? I'm just going to change everything to read and write. Oh, right there. Is that it? Executable as program? Yeah, so Ubuntu is a little bit different. So yeah, executable as program. Then what? Close the dialog. All right, cool. We figured that out. Double click on the app image. Oh shit. Guys, I can use the terminal commands right here. See, look at that. If I would have read, I could just run this through the terminal as normal. Duh. I don't know why I just didn't do that. All right, double clicked you. Are you going to do anything? What the fuck? That ain't right. All right, give me the terminal. I'm done. The terminal is where we're going to enter command lines with text. Open terminal, check. Change to directory containing app image. CD, what the hell is this? Actually, we should, hold on a minute. What directory is this in? What was our username? It's home/test/downloads. Hold on a second. 1 second here. Let me show this for a second because I want to make sure that I don't have this logged in with something and I don't want to show you the password to something. Okay, we'll go back to it. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have something else in that folder for the solid state drive that's connected. Anyway, so the command that I ran was cd /home/test/downloads. So that's /home/test being the username, and then /downloads, and it returned with squiggly line /downloads $. So that means that we've changed our directory into the downloads folder. So we've basically gone with command line into the downloads thing. Okay, make the app image executable. Well, I did that, but I did that. I wonder if it's still. If that still applies. I'm just going to change this to radar.appimage. I don't know if that's going to screw anything because I'm not typing that entire version number here. Oh, I'm typing in the wrong spot. Message file directory. Hold on. Okay, so I just ran a command chmod +x radar.appimage. So this is essentially changing this to an executable file, which we did in the GUI. I don't know if that still carries over or not, but regardless, we've changed it again, so it is an executable file. We've renamed the actual executable download to radar.appimage, and some of you might have noticed my mistakes. I typed in radaromega.appimage. The reason I did that is because there's a lot. It's radar omega dash this dash that with all this version stuff, and I'm probably gonna have a typo in that. So that's why we've just switched it to radar.appimage. I don't know if it's gonna screw anything up later, but we'll find out. And then it says I can just run it. Cannot be. It's a format error. Yeah, I think I might have screwed this up when I partially ran it. I'm gonna go ahead and again, not trying to get off track here. I'm gonna re-download that because I think when I renamed it, yeah, we only partially downloaded this file. You remember when I showed you guys that we had that error because of the internet connection? I don't think we actually downloaded the entire thing. I don't even think it's I think it's a corrupted file. So we will probably circle back to that. Move to trash. But one thing that we're going to do real quick is we're going to install OBS, Open Broadcast System. And you literally can just go on your browser, OBS Studio. Spelled it wrong. But if you go to download, there's actually Linux commands. This is not formatted properly, is it? There, yeah, right here. So down right here for the Linux stuff, run these commands to install OBS on Ubuntu. Sudo apt add repository ppa obs project / obs-studio sudo apt update sudo apt install OBS Studio. That's what we're going to run in terminal. So this is really simple. We'll pick up on this real quick. So we're actually just going to close terminal because I'm in some other directory and shit. This just kind of gives you a taste of what you're getting into here. So we'll go sudo, which basically means we're running this as an administrator, which we want to do. So sudo add -apt -repository. Wait till you make a spelling error. Yeah, that'll screw it up. Repository space ppa : obs project / obs-studio. Password for test. Password. And it's thinking. Press enter. Okay, so yeah. Latest state, so it says this is the repository blah 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 for the latest stable release of the program. So enter to continue or Control C to cancel. Remember that when you're in terminal, if you need to end a process or cancel something, it's Control C. That's not copy, that's cancel in this instance. So we're just going to hit enter. And this will take a little while depending on your internet. But again, not really doing a step-by-step here because we're going to actually do step-by-step use case processes on this live stream at some point, but I'm just trying to get everybody's feet wet here so you have an idea what you're getting into, because I don't know about you guys, but when I've seen something like this, even if it's just bits and pieces and then I have a few days to think on it, it's so much easier when I actually get into the project, because you've been exposed to it. So we're still, there it is. So it's done. So now we're going to go sudo apt update. Yeah, that's probably going to freaking take 3.5 years. Nope, done. Okay, so now we're going to go sudo apt install OBS-studio. Keep in mind, all this stuff is written right here on the OBS webpage. It's literally right here. Okay, so after this operation, it's going to take 196 megabytes of space. Click yes or no. So Y for yes, enter. It's like freaking DOS over here. This will take a little while. The next Pi 5 Plus is it'll actually run OBS because like a Raspberry Pi won't. I haven't been able to get any of them to run OBS unless you do these weird workaround commands, and even then you don't have any hardware and code. All right, so now it's processing. So it's basically installing. It's doing the same thing that Windows or Mac does, except it's not giving you a graphic interface with it, right? You're doing this in command line. All this happens behind the scenes on your computer when you're installing or uninstalling something. There's just a graphic interface. There's buttons and links that do it for you. We're just telling the computer with commands to do it for us, basically. All right, so this should be done here any second now. There it went. So you'll know a process is done when you get the line where it says your username at, little at sign, so test@test-desktop. So it'll give you like an address, username at, and then the directory you're working in with the little squiggly line and the $sign. So you know it's done. So if we go over here under the show apps button, we should have OBS. Yeah, right here, right there. Click on it, it should run. There it is. And OBS, folks, is essentially a software encoder. It is a software encoder that allows us to do all sorts of live streaming. So you can set this up with the wizard. So we could do, like, let's say optimize for streaming, and we'll just blast through here. You can do 1080p, 30 FPS, next. Here's where you do your service: Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Restream, Twitter, or show all. And here's all the services you can stream to. They've got some like kind of naughty ones in here too. They've got OnlyFans. Well, that's not necessarily done. My Free Cams. I have a feeling that is probably a no-no site. X Love Cam. Right there, folks. Anybody use xlovecam.com? Well, now's your chance. I'm not going to do that right now because I can only imagine. But yeah, this literally has presets for everything. But if you're not streaming to xlovecam, Panda TV, or any of this other crap, there's a software glitch here. Hold on. You can go all the way up here to Service, Custom. First thing in the drop-down is Custom. God damn it. Is custom, and then you would type in your server, so like RTMP : //, and then your stream key. I'm not going to put that in right now because it's not necessary, because we're not actually streaming, but I'll click cancel. So there's going to be a couple of different things you can do here. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to use our USB waterproof, well, I shouldn't say weatherproof, because they don't look super waterproof, but weatherproof USB cameras that I'm recommending for our severe weather intercepting probes, whatever you want to call them. USB camera. And I'm literally just going to plug that in. Plug it into a USB 3 port. And we'll just point it, how about we'll just point it up here. God damn it. God, freaking A. No, you get the gist of it. So what we can do here is go down to sources, click the plus sign, and then video capture device V4L2. And then we're going to give it a name. We'll call it, I don't know, webcam LOL. Why not? And V4L2, whatever, that's basically the Linux, like, hey, this is, a webcam interface, basically. So there you go. So I just had to find the device in the list, clicked it. Now for format, you'll notice when I move this around, I know it's hard to see up there, but it's really not good. It's very pixelated. The format, oh, it's not letting me, son of a gun. There you go. There, that's more smooth. There's actually two in here. It gave me two for the same instance, so I just had to find it. RDUCam. For video format, we're going to do motion-JPEG. It's so much smoother. It doesn't pixelate. Resolution, we'll go 1080, and then frame rate 30. And then you have camera controls down here in this box, so you can adjust the brightness and stuff. Oops. And then click OK. And now it's added as your source. So it's there. So we could literally start streaming with it if we had that. And you could unplug the monitor and you see where I'm getting at, folks? You could build live streaming security cameras, hunting, trail cameras, all sorts of stuff with this as long as you have a cellular connection or a cell modem to run this with. So this would work really well. It's a nice wide field of view. So I know you can't really tell, but there's these horizontal lines that are going up and down. They're horizontal traveling lines. Now let me see if I can do this. Yeah, full screen preview. It's hard to see, but do you see these ghosted lines kind of going down the screen and they're kind of transversing the screen? I don't know if you can see them if I really... I know it's hard to see, but they're there, and that's going to drive you nuts. Now, the reason for that is because it's set to 50 hertz power line filter for whatever reason, or 50 hertz for the line filter. I think there's a setting in here for that. If there's not, yep, right here, power line frequency, 50 hertz. Switch that to 60 hertz, boom, it's gone. So that's something you need to be mindful with these cameras. It's gone, clear, way sharper image. So you need to remember that, folks. And there is a way to do this. Once we get into the Bella box, setup, we're gonna have to do that by command line. We're actually gonna have to make a script to do that every time the computer or the Pi boots up, so that it knows that this camera is 60 hertz. Unless you're somewhere where you have 50 hertz power lines. If that's the case, then don't worry about it. But we'll have to make a startup script. But we'll learn how to do that when we do that episode, so to speak. But that's basically it. So you've essentially set up a computer. You could broadcast. You can set this to run at startup. We're not going to get into that tonight, but you could run this at startup, and you would have this. Basically, what you could do is just plug this in auto magically, and it would just start up and run. You could put the frame rate to 60, but that's not going to solve the power line issue. It's with these webcams. The problem is this thing probably doesn't have true 60 frames per second. It's probably interpolated, meaning that OBS would probably just assume and just start adding frames. So in the case of a USB camera, putting it to 60 frames per second probably would not fix it. Would be my guess. Because usually it's interpolated. So, hold on here. I'm going to see if I can pull something up here without showing you this information here. Just don't want to show you all this right now. 1 second here. Just not sure if I can pull this up or if we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I need to not show you this here. 1 second. All right, so weird. Very weird. Okay. So anyway, we've got that taken care of. So you've basically got a running little mini computer, and you obviously, as you can imagine, you can do a freaking ton with that. So there's a lot of use cases with it. I don't think I'm going to go any more deep into the software or the hardware side of that tonight, because we've actually been streaming for like an hour already. And I think we kind of covered it. Now you guys all kind of know what we're getting at. So what I'm actually going to do is go back to my computer here. I think I'm going to go back to, let's see here, I need to get the right mouse first. Plug my HDMI back in. Fantastic, there we go. So I'm going to kind of open this up for your questions, folks. Let me try to get the full screen chat up, and we'll kind of go through some of this, but don't know about the Waffle House app, Dave, but I will work on that for you. I think I'm going to go ahead and show you guys as well, real quick. That's a dumb comment. It wasn't a comment from any of our viewers. It was a troll. We're going to go ahead and I want to show you the Radar Omega. And wow, look at that. Oh, wait, you don't. Do you see that? No, you don't. Huh. Wow. Oh, wait, you still don't see it. Jesus. Wow, look at that. This is actually a Cyclone port camera. Wow, look how cool these cameras look at night. I just had a bunch of cameras up monitoring them for funsies. This is the camera in Norfolk, Nebraska. Oh my god, look at this, guys. Holy crap, that might be the coolest video feed I've seen in a long time with that night vision like that. Look at that, guys. That is really cool. Wow. Man, ain't that something. That's US 20 right there. I've driven by that. I think that's US 20. It is. That's US. No, that's 275. I thought that was 20. Duh. Yeah, that's 275, that 4-lane. But I've been on that several times. Really pretty area. You can see the sand hills. But I want to show you guys how this is going to kind of look in the app. So let me start up a stream, which I guess I need to go to my server and allow that to start. Oh, fudge. Oh, frick. Hold on. Totally not prepared for this live stream, people. I need to put a password in because I need to get the stream key for this. Copy. And then I'll paste. Hold on, folks. So sorry. I just need to copy a stream key. And add it as a destination. Maybe. There's a cat crying outside my door again. Sorry, folks. Let me add this. Oh, shit, that's SRT. I can't do that. Let me see if I can add the destination here in Toolkit. Custom SRT. We're going to call this radar omega demo URL with port. All right. Stream ID.